My parents went to Italy with my siblings. Mom said it was family only. I wasn't invited, but my corporate card was. 6 first-class tickets, 2 suites, a $11,500 wine bill. I reversed every payment. At 6:03 a.m., my phone lit up. 27 missed calls. I woke up to the text at 5:17 a.m. family only. That was all my mom wrote under a photo of them smiling at the Delta One lounge at JFK. I remember sitting up in bed like I just heard a gunshot. 6 people front and center holding champagne flutes. My mom, dad, both my sisters, my brother, and his wife. And behind them, the gate sign, Rome Airways, boarding now. I wasn't tagged. I wasn't mentioned. I wasn't invited. I stared at it for a full minute, just letting the words soak in. Then I checked the group chat with my mom and sisters. Silent. No messages, not even a fake excuse, nothing but a massive slap in the face. My stomach turned. Not because they left me out. That part I'd felt before, but this time they brought my card, the corporate one, the one I opened for my consulting business. The one I told them was only for emergencies, and only because the financial advisor said it would help streamline the trust we'd set up. I put both my parents on the account. They said it made them feel more in control. They liked the idea of having access in case something happened to me. I was too generous. Way too generous. By 5:24 a.m., I was looking at the charges. 6 round-trip, first-class flights. 2 connecting suites at the Hassler overlooking the Spanish Steps. That's the kind of place that sends champagne to your room just for breathing. Then the restaurant bookings hit. A pergola broli. A tasting menu in Florence. An Amalfi Coast wine and yacht package. Car rentals. Private drivers shopping in Milan, and then the wine bill. That was the final insult. $11, 53748. In one night, who spends 11 grand on wine on a Tuesday? They did on my dime with my card while I was still in my hoodie drinking stale coffee at my desk, working overtime to help pay down my parents' mortgage from last year. I didn't cry. I didn't even get mad at first. I went cold. I started reading every single booking confirmation. Every dinner, every hotel, every spa day. They hadn't even tried to be subtle. Everything was in my name. My email was the primary contact for most of it. Like, they thought I just let it slide. Like, they thought I was too soft, too loyal, too grateful to ever fight back. That's what broke me. I called AMX first, told them I needed a full review of the charges on the corporate card, flagged everything as unauthorized. Then, I started hitting the bookings. The airline was easy. They were still mid-flight, so I canceled their return tickets. Who? I called and said the reservation had been compromised. I gave them a cancellation code so clean it probably looked like an inside job. Every driver, every tour, every dinner gone. I left the wine bill on purpose. By the time they landed in Rome, they had no hotel, no itinerary, no ride, and no way back. And they had no idea why. The missed call started at 6:03 a.m. First one from Mom, then Ivy, then my dad, then my brother 10 times in a row, 27 total by 6:45. I didn't pick up. I didn't text back. I just watched the notifications pile up like a slow-moving avalanche. Then at 7:12 a.m., Ivy sent a voice message. She was whispering like someone had died. Said the hotel wouldn't let them check in. Said their bags were locked in the lobby. Said Mom was freaking out. Said Dad kept trying to use the card, but it was declined. And then came the part that made me smile. We don't know what's happening, but they're saying everything was reversed. The card's been shut off. No apology, no explanation, just panic. I put my phone down and opened my laptop. This wasn't revenge. Not yet. This was just the beginning. I didn't respond that day. Not to the calls, not to the texts, not even to the email titled Urgent Family Stranded that my brother sent from his work address like this was some kind of hostage situation. I just watched everything fall apart from 1,000 miles away. By that night, Ivy cracked first. She sent me a voice memo around 10:48 p.m. Her voice was thin and erratic. Said they were stuck in the street with no hotel, no transportation, and all of their bags locked behind a front desk that wouldn't even buzz them in. She said the staff treated them like criminals, that a man in a suit had escorted them out and told them the reservation no longer exists. They hadn't even gotten out of Rome yet. Their car service was gone. The prepaid city passes walked. The luxury dining itinerary I found in Mom's email can led and refunded. I took my time with that one. Even reached out to the tour guide they were supposed to meet the next day in Tuscany and offered to double his fee if he confirmed their names had been removed from the guest list. He was thrilled. Said they were very demanding clients anyway. By morning the tone changed completely. This time it was Mom. She sent a 5-paragraph message that tried to sound like an apology, but was really just a lecture wrapped in soft words. She said they didn't mean to exclude me, that they assumed I was too busy, too career-focused, too independent to want a big family trip. She said I would have hated all the chaos anyway, and ended it with a line that made my jaw tighten. We just didn't think you'd mind sharing a little. A little. First-class tickets, luxury hotels, multi-000 wine tastings. That was a little. I read it twice, then deleted it. By noon, I'd taken it to the next level. I contacted AITA Airways again and reported a potential security breach linked to the flight reservations. Told them someone might have accessed the itinerary using internal information. That's when I found out they'd already tried to reschedule their return flights. No surprise there. Their vacation had turned into a logistical nightmare within 24 hours. Too bad I'd already voided the tickets. Then came the wine bill. I never canceled that one. I wanted them to feel it. I called the restaurant and asked for an itemized list. Every bottle, every glass, every pairing they ordered. I had it emailed to everyone on the corporate account, myself and my dad. He got a 9-page PDF detailing a night of lavish drinking and caviar while his eldest daughter sat at home answering client calls past midnight. I pictured him reading the price tag on a 1995 Sassicaia while wondering if he could even afford train fare to the next city. Later that day, I got a message from the Tuscany driver I'd booked for their vineyard tour. He was confused why the ride was canceled. I told him the truth. They were no-shows, they weren't welcome anymore, and offered to pay him double for one last favor. I emailed him a PDF. He printed it and delivered it in a sealed envelope to the boutique hotel in Siena where my family thought they were headed next. Inside was their full itinerary, flights, hotel confirmations, restaurant bookings, all stamped canceled in red block letters. They received it just after being turned away from a budget Airbnb 2 neighborhoods over. That night, my brother called again, left a voicemail. Okay, this is getting out of control. We need to fix this before it gets worse. Fix it. They still thought this was a temporary inconvenience. Then I calmed down. Forgive. Go back to being the same girl who paid for Ivy's summer classes and pretended not to notice when Mom dipped into my trust to cover her car loan. They didn't realize yet. This wasn't about the money anymore. They'd taken the one thing I never thought they would, my trust. And now they were going to crawl back home broke, angry, and desperate for someone to blame that I'd be right here. Watching, waiting, planning the next move. They lasted 5 days before the cracks showed. Ivy's Instagram went silent after one filtered selfie at the Coliseum. My brother's wife, always the strategist, posted a story that said, "Digital detox victory," and like it was a choice. But the truth was obvious. They were unraveling, fast. I didn't reach out. I let the silence stretch. I wanted them to feel it. Day 6, Dad finally texted, "Can we talk?" No greeting. No explanation. Just that. I left it on read. An hour later, Mom followed with a voice message. She tried to sound calm, but panic slipped through. Said the cards were malfunctioning. The airline wouldn't help them rebook, and their backup hotel refused to extend their stay without a working card. She kept dancing around the truth. They'd maxed out my trust, betrayed me, and still expected me to play dumb and bail them out. She couldn't even say sorry. She honestly believed this could be fixed with a few guilt trips. She even said, "We didn't think you'd mind that much." That was the moment I realized she didn't see it as theft. Using my corporate card for a 5-figure vacation I wasn't invited to was, in her mind, just a favor I didn't know I'd done. That night, my brother left another voicemail. His tone had changed, sharp, accusing. Called me cold. Said I was taking things too far, ruining what was left of the family over a misunderstanding. I didn't respond. Instead, I made one more call, this time to the card company's fraud team. I told them everything. The unauthorized charges, the long-term misuse, the receipts. They didn't hesitate. The account was frozen. The case escalated. A formal review opened that same week. That's when everything collapsed for them. Flights locked, hotel declined, restaurant bookings blacklisted. Their backup cards started failing one after another. They were stranded in Italy, luggage they couldn't afford to ship home, no one to call, and I wasn't lifting a finger. 2 days later, I got an alert from Western Union. Someone had tried to wire money from Rome to New York using my dad's name and my card's billing address. It was flagged and rejected. They were desperate now that I finally answered Ivy's call on day 9. She was already crying. Said everything had gone wrong. They hadn't eaten properly in 3 days. The Airbnb had bed bugs. Dad was talking about selling one of their watches for a plane ticket. She said Mom never told them I'd been left out. That she claimed it was her decision. That they thought I'd known and just didn't want to come. That I asked her one question. What did Mom mean by family only? There was a long pause. Then Ivy said, quiet, like she didn't even want to hear it herself. Mom said it wasn't a trip for outsiders. That you weren't part of the core family anymore. That you made your choice when you left home and built a life they didn't understand. They hadn't forgotten me. They'd erased me. And now they were broke, stranded, and humiliated in another country, trying to crawl back, not out of love, but because they needed me. That I told Ivy to let them know their return flight was canceled for good. If they wanted to come home, they could pay for it themselves. She didn't argue. That night, they booked the cheapest flights they could find. One layover in Zurich, another in Toronto. No first class, no champagne, no private drivers. Just silence. They landed 3 days later. No texts, no calls. But I was already planning the next part. They thought getting home was the end of the punishment. They had no idea. I was just getting started. They landed in New York on a Sunday night. I knew because I'd rerouted their itinerary to my inbox weeks before canceling their original flights. I watched their return in real time. 11 hours in economy, 1 missed connection, and a customs delay that kept them at JFK until 3 a.m. No one texted. No one called. It was the first time Mom came home from a trip without bragging. 2 days later, I made my move. I filed to remove both parents from the joint trust. Legally, I could. The trust was under my LLC, and they were secondary holders. I revoked their access, ordered a full audit, and told the accountant to pull metadata and IP logs. The results were worse than I expected. The Italy trip wasn't the first time. There were smaller charges, Amazon orders, Florida hotels, even a spa package booked in my brother's name. They'd been siphoning money for months. That night, I emailed my mother, formal, cold, listed the charges, attached the audit, and warned that further misuse would qualify as financial fraud. 2 hours later, she replied, seriously. She said I was acting like a stranger, that no amount of money put me above family, and ended with, remember who changed your diapers? I stared at that for a long time. Then I sent everything, screenshots, receipts, voice notes, to my lawyer. I wasn't bluffing anymore. 3 days later, a letter arrived. Handwritten, no return address. It was from my Uncle Marcus, the only one I'd ever liked. He said Mom bragged at a family cookout that Alad's card makes it all possible. Then he warned me. They'd been planning to use the trust to buy a family property in the Catskills, a home I wouldn't be welcome in because I was too corporate now. The next morning, I called my lawyer and froze all trust distributions. The real estate agent confirmed everything. They'd already been viewing listings. I let them find out through a couriered legal notice at by 10 a.m. My phone was blowing up. Calls, texts, voicemails. I ignored them all until Mom finally sent a voice note accusing me of greed and betrayal. She said the house was for everyone. I told her to meet me, neutral ground. We met at our old cafe. She looked tired, hiding behind sunglasses. I showed her the audit, bank records, Marcus's letter. She didn't read a word. Just said, you always wanted to make us look bad. I told her the trust was closed, permanently. The house gone. Italy trip, reversed. Cards, canceled. Fraud report, pending. She said, you're not punishing us, Elodie. You're punishing yourself. I left. Hours later, Dad texted to talk man to man. I replied, I'm not your son. Ivy called for a family meeting. I agreed on my terms. Hotel room, release form signed. I showed proof, recordings, every lie. No apologies. I said the new rules, no more money, no more pretending. Mom asked, so you're really walking away? I said YES.BY Friday. I'd blocked them all. Mom, Dad, Ivy, everyone. Cleared chats, deleted photos, replaced my emergency contact with my lawyer. The trust closed. I moved the last funds to an LLC in my name and donated $11,500 to a nonprofit for women escaping financial abuse. Mom tried again. A message through a friend, a voicemail, then an unsigned email. We didn't mean to lose you. That's when I knew. It was never about love. Only controlled and no drama, no lawsuit. Just silence. In that silence, I found peace, boundaries, and freedom. 7 months later, they're still gone. Maybe they finally believe me. Maybe they found someone else to fund their dreams. Either way, I don't miss them. Family isn't who you're born to. It's who shows up and never asks for payment.